Time for the business news now, and Stephen Carroll joins me. Hello, Stephen.
Hello,
you're starting with the latest on that data scandal involving a political consultancy and Facebook.
That's right. This issue wiped more than $37 billion off the value of Facebook on Wall Street on Monday. The company's shares had their biggest one-day fall in 4 years. After it emerged, the political consultancy, Cambridge Analytica, had harvested data from the social network of millions of US voters. Now, in pre-market trading today, there's no sign of a recovery in Facebook's share price. Inquiries, meanwhile, have begun in Britain and the United States into how the information was obtained and used by the consultancy and what influence it may have had on the 2016 US election. The UK's Information Commissioner says she's seeking a warrant to examine Cambridge Analytica's computers. Catherine Viette has the story.
Data research firm Cambridge Analytica and social media giant Facebook are at the center of a dispute over the collection and use of personal information online. A whistleblower says Cambridge Analytica misused data it collected from Facebook users and weaponized it.
This data was misappropriated and mishandled by this company, and I think that they need to be investigated for that.
Now, Britain's Information Commissioner is seeking a warrant to search Cambridge Analytica's computer servers. The firm has already missed a Monday deadline to provide access to its records. Speaking to the BBC, Elizabeth Denham says she's also investigating Facebook and asked the company not to pursue its own audit of Cambridge Analytica data.
Our advice to Facebook is to back away and let us go in and do our work.
This comes after an undercover report by British television's Channel 4 News revealed secretly taped interviews with senior Cambridge Analytica executives, boasting of how they used digital manipulation to sway elections in countries around the world. Cambridge Analytica has denied any wrongdoing. For Facebook, it's yet another black eye. The tech giant is already under pressure over Russia's use of the social media site's tools to sway American voters during the 2016 presidential election. Wall Street has punished Facebook, sending its shares tumbling on Monday, shaving nearly $40 billion off its market value. Now it's facing calls for tighter regulations of its platform as lawmakers demand answers.
Meanwhile, there are other changes on the way at Facebook as well. The company's security chief, Alex Stamos, is, according to reports, going to leave Facebook in August. The New York Times and others saying that Stamos has been calling for more disclosure around Russian interference on Facebook. On Twitter, he didn't mention his reported departure, saying despite the rumours he was still fully engaged with his work at the company, but that his role had changed.
So Facebook was a massive story for the markets yesterday. Is it having any impact today?
European shares trading up today, so we're seeing things a little bit calmer after the sharp falls among technology companies on Wall Street on Monday. Investors looking ahead to the meeting of the US Federal Reserve were expecting that to announce an interest rate hike, which would be the first under Jerome Powell, but gains, as you can see, across London, Paris and Frankfurt.
Now, the production company founded by disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein has filed for bankruptcy protection.
The private equity firm Lantern Capital Partners has offered to buy the firm, but the deal will now have to be approved by a bankruptcy court. In the meantime, the company says it's lifting non-disclosure agreements from any of Harvey Weinstein's alleged victims, allowing them to speak up without fear of retaliation. The Oscar-winning producer is accused of multiple sexual assaults, all of which he insists were consensual.
Well, finally, Stephen, it seems the humble ham baguette has fallen out of favour here in France.
Apparently the burger has dethroned the ham, butter and baguette as France's favourite sandwich. Figures from the marketing firm Gira showing that almost 1.5 billion burgers were sold in France last year, compared to around 1.2 billion ham sandwiches. The firm says that's not necessarily bad news for French producers, as burgers here tend to use French bread and French meat. Apparently 80% of French restaurants now have at least one burger on the menu. Personally, I'm just delighted to live in a country that has a favourite sandwich.
Only 80%. I would have said.
Feels
more
like
than
more.
That. The exception
Italian restaurants.
Always a
maybe.
burger on the menu. Stephen, thank you very much for that. Stephen Carroll there with the business roundup.